It's amazing how we can have an episode like last week's that was packed not only visually but thematically as well, and then have an episode like this one that is nowhere near last episode visually but still managed to excel story-wise. This episode hit really close to home as we take a deeper look into the character that is Reigen. Reigen has always been this character that's been presented to us as perfect or flawless. Reigen never loses a discussion, he never loses at rock, paper, scissors, he's always in control of the situation he's in, and is cunning enough to be able to identify an evil spirit within a human despite not having psychic powers and having a room full of people with psychic powers telling him otherwise. Though, Reigen is by no means perfect. I mean, come on. He's a manipulative, sketchy con artist that does in fact use Mob for his own gain. A lot of the time, we do turn a blind eye to this fact due to how big of an influence Reigen is to Mob and generally just how charismatic Reigen is. But this idea that Reigen is this flawless character was first challenged in the 3rd episode of this season. We saw how having too many jobs made Reigen complacent to the point where he failed to take into consideration Mob's feelings. And this idea got pushed even further this episode, where it seems like once again Reigen got complacent, and not only did he not take into consideration Mob's feelings, but once Mob expressed himself and made his feelings clear, he absolutely tossed them aside. You see, there was this very clear distinction in the support offered by Mob's friends and the support offered by Reigen this episode. When Mob mentions to his friends that he can't make it to karaoke due to work, they understand that some things take priority. I'm not entirely sure if the Body Improvement Club and the Telepathy Club are aware of the fact that Mob doesn't make nearly as much money as he should, but if they don't and believe Mob is making enough money from that job, they understand and encourage Mob to put himself and his well-being first. Meanwhile, Reigen is putting himself and his needs before Mob's. Reigen thinks he knows the power he has on Mob, and knowing the influence he had on Mob and what Mob's goals are, tells Mob to reconsider his social group. If Mob was still adhering to Reigen's words the same way he used to, Mob probably would have abandoned his friends. Even though Reigen telling Mob to do this is just Reigen projecting his own experiences with his friends onto Mob. Mob's friends aren't taking advantage of Mob, Reigen's friends are taking advantage of Reigen for either emotional support or the hope that one day he has enough lemon sours to buy into a pyramid scheme. Luckily though, Mob has been changing. I mean, a change was inevitable after what happened in Mogami's world. It's something Dimple and even Reigen himself have noticed, but Reigen has not taken the time to understand this new Mob. Reigen knows nothing of Mob besides what he sees of him at work, and this is mainly due to the fact that all this time Mob has been dancing to the beat of Reigen's drum, and because Mob continued to do so, Reigen was unable to see the changes Mob has been going through. Reigen's mistakes up until this point have been quite minor, but his grave mistake this episode was not believing that Mob had friends, that he had a personal life. Reigen took everything Mob said to him and cold-heartedly rejected everything despite not taking the time to catch up with Mob. Rejecting all of Mob's claims, rejecting the idea that he has made friends, makes it sound like Reigen does not believe in Mob's ability to change and his ability to become a better person, when Mob in actuality is broadening his horizons. Not only is he achieving new goals and setting new personal records, but he's already setting new goals. Mob already has his sights somewhere else. Reigen, on the other hand, for most of the episode is stuck. He's not moving backwards, but definitely not taking any steps forward. Throughout the series, I've fallen in love with Reigen's character. I was always noting the times Reigen proved to be an amazing master. I was always noting the times when Mob relied on Reigen, though I've never taken the time to consider just how much Reigen relies on Mob. And once Reigen is left by Mob and truly alone, we see this character that has so often been presented to us as perfect or flawless for who he truly is. Reigen's a lost adult. He's accomplished nothing, and all of his social interactions come from his interactions at work with this middle schooler. Though all the time Reigen has spent with Mob has not been for naught, because if there's one thing that Mob has unknowingly taught Reigen is the capacity people have to change. The fact that Reigen wasn't able to see that within Mob is a completely separate issue. Reigen, very much like Mob, came face to face with reality. And whether it was Mob abandoning him or his mother's email, one thing was made abundantly clear to Reigen, and that's the fact that he was unhappy with who he was. So, just like Mob, he set a goal and worked tirelessly to achieve it. At the end of last episode, Mob came to the realization that he has the ability to change others, which makes you wonder just how many people has Mob unknowingly changed. This episode, while paling in comparison visually to last episode, but like what wouldn't, absolutely kills it thematically. One's writing was just so realistic, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, hit really close to home. You see, I'm 22 in college, and I think I have some expectations set on me, and if I don't meet those expectations, damn, I might very well get that same email from my mother at some point in my life. So in order to avoid that, make sure to leave a comment down below, that way the YouTube algorithm picks this video up. If you're an anime only, let me know what you thought about this episode and any predictions you may have, and if you're a manga reader, let me know how you felt Studio Bones adapted this episode. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, it helps the channel out a lot, and feel free to follow me on Twitter and to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to hit that bell, that way you don't miss a video and can keep on watching Mob Psycho 100 with me. And with that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.